it up to get back to this point. Now there's a rule in chapter 9 that we're going to be using a lot. It's called the zero product property. What this says is if I take any two things, multiply them together, and get 0, one of them has to be 0. In language, we would write that it says basically, if the product is 0, then one of the factors must be 0. And that's what we're going to be doing here. In this example, I've got two factors, x minus 7 and x plus 2. And as a product, they equal 0. So that means that one of two things must be the case. Either x minus 7 is 0.
This only means if something equals something 0.
Right. That 0 is important. Or x plus 2 has to equal 0.
Say after then,
one of the factors must be 0. Right.
Wait, everybody does it.
One of the factors. Because I have two things, x minus 7 and x plus 2 multiplied together, and they equal 0, one or the other must be 0, which means I can solve this equation now. If I take this side over here,
add, which one's true?
Add 7 to both sides. Well, no, they're both true.
Oh.
And now I can go over here, subtract 2 from each side. I get x is equal to negative 2. So my answer now, my answers to this problem are that x is 7 or negative 2. When we do, no, x minus 7 equals 0, x minus 7 equals 0, or x plus 2 equals 0. Work it out now. My answer to the algebra problem is that x is either 7 or negative 2. This whole chapter, quadratics, you're going to find that you have two answers to almost every problem. You need to go get a drink of water? Okay, go ahead. Well, I should probably still do a quick check on this. So let's verify this by doing a check. Let's say x was 7. That means I have 7 minus 7, 7 plus 2. Does that equal 0? Well, that's 0 times 9. Is that 0?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything times 0 is 0. So 0 times 9 works out to be 0.
Wait. 0?
Which 0?
0 times 9.
7 minus 7 is 0.
Oh, you don't do the middles and the values?
You could. You'll end up at 49 minus plus 14 minus 14 minus 49, which is 0. It's a lot easier just to work inside the parentheses, though. 7 minus 7 is 0 times 9, which is 7 plus 2. Takes you right back to 0, and it checks out. And I can also tell you that if I do the same thing with x equals negative 2, I'm going to get the same result. Negative 2 minus 7. And then negative 2 plus 2, does that equal 0? Yeah. Well, yeah, this here is negative 9 times 0, which is 0.
Wait, is that negative 2 minus 7?
Yes. The important part here has to do with saying, because I've got two factors, Izzy, and they multiply up to 0, I can split these factors into their own separate equations. And that only works when there's a 0 there. If those two factors equal anything else, this doesn't work. We can't split and say, well, since it's 6, 6 is 3 times 2, so maybe x minus 7 is 3 and x plus 2 is 3. Doesn't work. Only works for zeros. And it goes back to that zero product property.